right, guys. So, uh, again, I'll probably give the timer a little bit of time here as people get notified that I've gone live for DCUSH, and I'm going to go ahead and send out a remind here as well that I've done so. Um, what I would like to do is to actually take you through this project. Let me get a message sent out to remind here real quick. Nope. Okay. Need to get Streamlabs set up on my computer here before this e-learning stuff gets too out of control. Okay, so Ridgeway history. Okay, so there we go. All right. So again, apologies for the delay. If you are sitting there and wondering what this whole DCUSH project is about, that's what we're going to actually take some time and do. Now, I would highly recommend that if you are watching this like not live, that you go and look in the chat as to what is going on. Because I'm going to be putting a bunch of links in there as to, assignments and, things like that. Let me get this pulled up here real quick. And make sure that I have the project pulled up, and I'm going to get all the drive links pulled up, and then we will kind of go from there. So, and by the way, you will need to be logged in with your Google account to be able to see these things. So if for some reason you're like operating off your phone on a different Google account or something like that, just please let me know if you can't get it. Again, I'm going to assume that you're going to be looking at this on your Chromebook at the same time. So here's the document where we're going to be looking together. Okay, it's going to be right here. Again, you can just copy paste that. And then for the methods that you can do the project, that is also linked in that same document, but I'm going to provide another link here. Okay, cool. So let's talk about this crazy thing that we've been up to, right? So we have been working the last month or so on 2 books. I'm using a million and only yesterday. Now, don't freak out about this, okay? This project is not intended to break you in any way, shape, or form. It's not meant to stress you out. It's more to be like an opportunity to share what you know. And so, in that spirit of things, here we go. Paste. Okay, so there's the 2 documents you'll need. So let's talk about, and again, I can assume you are a capable person and you can read. But I'm going to go ahead and just read the first page, because it does kind of get us on the same footing. So here we go. Let's see what we got. So I'm using a million. Okay, and again, I'm on this Google document. That would have been the first link in the chat or the description that you can click on. So I'm using the million only. Yesterday, I've guided us through 2 ages of American transformation. John Casson wrote in the 1900s that changing economic and social conditions helped to create the basis of a new mass culture in the forms of amusement parks. Frederick Lewis Allen, who's the writer for Only Yesterday, writes of his own work, I placed emphasis upon the changing state of the public mind and upon the sometimes trivial happenings with which it was preoccupied. So what we're going to do then is we are going to kind of now take these documents and these books, and we're going to do something cool with it. Okay, so this is a month-long project. I can already tell you right the heck now that that's going to have to be modified because of our current issues going on. But okay, you have a variety of subject matters you can address. You can represent your learning in a whole bunch of multiple different ways. The only rules that apply are, number 1, that you actually hit the expectations of the project, okay? And then number 2, you use Only Yesterday and I'm using the million as sources, okay? So again, that means things like, reading the books, right? And citing them. So please make sure you actually do that, right? Anyways, moving on. The goals, okay? So let's talk about what we're trying to achieve here. So explain new shifts in American society and culture, such as those in gender norms, leisure time, consumer behavior. There's 1,000 different things they talk about that is changing in American society in these books. Okay. Um, so I'll come back to that here in a second. And then number two, part of that, compare contrast these changes in American society in 1900 versus 1920, as documented by Amusing the Million and Only Yesterday. So, okay, what you're kind of comparing here are kind of this weird world where we're kind of in between Victorianism and like mass entertainment in Amusing the Million. And then by 1920, it's completely changed in multiple respects. Now, I've had students do projects over gender norms. I've had them do them over dress. I've had them do it over dating. Um, it could be any aspect of society. I had somebody one block do it over. It was, oh gosh, what was it? It was like they decided that they, through a radio show, they were going to talk about mass entertainment between these things, which kind of gets us to the methods, but we can talk about that more here in a second. Okay, so again, the big priorities. Do you take one, and preferably one, shift in American society and compare contrast that between the two books? Okay. Now the methods, there are a bajillion different methods you can do this through. I'm going to go ahead and now go to the second link, which is the 18 alternatives to essays. Well, that's what I'll link you out to. And these options on slide number 2 are all ideas. They're not the only things you need to be limited to, but you can take them and you can run with them to who knows where. Okay. So digital textbooks, art galleries, podcasts, websites, infographics, handbooks, a choose your own journey game, because you weren't sick of them from, the Spanish American War. Board games, skit script, children's book, Dear Diary, rap, song, poem, newspaper, explosion box, sketch notes, models, comics, draw my life, etc., etc. And there are so many different options. So this is one. I'm just going to pull up a model here that I actually have in my classroom. So this it's on the back wall. And if you go to the model, it's like slide 18, and you click on the example. What they did is they constructed. They took like a cardboard piece of paper, and then they split it down the center. And on one side they had Amusing the Million and some of the entertainment that was there during that kind of events. And then they flipped it, and then they had the entertainment that was on the other side of the poster board that they kind of built up. It was the 1920s. And then what they did, okay, now again, and we'll go read the rubric here in a second. They had to back up why they put the things in the model they did and that kind of thing. So there was a little bit of writing they had to do with that to kind of explain their thinking. So back anyways, again, like I've had students make program video games that do this. I've had them make radio broadcasts, rap videos, like you name it. All you got to do is basically hit those objectives. So what does a good project look like? Well, let's go take a look at the rubric. Okay. So again, I'm back on the first document. I'm on, if you click rubric, it'll take you right down to it. Okay. Number 1. Okay. We're looking for depth, not breadth here. Okay. So we're looking for an in-depth explanation about the 1900s and the 1920s. Okay. So let's say, for example, you decide to do a newspaper in the 1900s, and then you, on the backside of it, or, scrolling down, all of a sudden the newspaper gets forwarded into the 1920s. You need to be writing about the same topic or event in both of them. Okay. You got to compare apples to apples, and like, you really want to go into depth using those sources, and you want to tell us, like, why do those changes, like, why do they matter? Okay. Why should we care about the change of, the switch from bicycling to automobiles, or the change in how people are, going to movies, or those kinds of things, how they're driving cars. You go on and on and on, right? Then again, obviously you compare contrast. Okay. You actually, look at the difference between gender norms in 1900 versus 1920. Again, dive into that. We want to see you using the sources, which then brings me to the next column. Both Amusing the Million and Only Yesterday utilizes sources. Evidence greatly supports the explanation of basically your argument. Okay. And that, okay, brings me down here at the very bottom of the document. Okay, like the very bottom of this document, it talks about how to cite them. Okay, we're not doing formal citations here. I'm not going to try to teach you formal historian citations. Trust me, they suck. But what I do want you to be able to do is to back your evidence up. Okay, we can have a whole separate day talking about how to do proper citations. That's not our intention here. Okay, so that's how you do those down there at the bottom. Cool. Then once you've done that, okay, we are basically the last column, the last row is really simple. Like it doesn't look like you put it together the night before. Does it look nice? Okay, and it looks like a well put together project. So that is my general gist of explanation for how this project is going to roll. Okay. Again, the due date is going to be immensely flexible because of how things are going to go. We just got news, but I don't know if it's been shared out with you guys about our plans for e-learning. Actually, like just an hour ago, and I'm recording this at like 2 p.m. on Friday. So again, like make sure you're paying attention to email and that kind of stuff in terms of all that news. Besides all that noise. Okay. For the two people in here, because I see there's two people in chat, what questions do you have? Because now would be a good time to ask, because I'm right here and I'm able to answer questions for you. Because other than that, that's pretty much the explanation of the project itself. I'll give you 30 seconds or a minute to type questions in. It should remind you of the Honor and Slavery Project. It's immensely similar. You get to show off your knowledge. The only difference here now is instead of taking one aspect of honor and slavery, you're taking one thing of continuity and or change in both of the texts. You're welcome. Are you guys able to watch this on your Chromebook yet? Or are you still only able to watch on your phones? I'm curious as to what you guys are able to do. Okay. Sometime, Ethan, not like, not right now, but like sometimes give it a try and see if you can actually pop something up on your Chromebook. That'd be interesting to find out. Okay. So, unless somebody has like any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here because I got things that yeah. So, alrighty. Good luck, guys. Again, keep washing your hands, social distancing, stay safe. All right. See ya.